Okay, so difference between a company driver expense and a leased-on driver. Let's go over them. So for an employee driver, you're going to have payroll fees, and I put this little red dollar sign to show so that once I show everything, you can see what you're paying for each one. Just color coded, it'll pop out for you. Okay, so payroll fees. When you're submitting, whether it's 1099 or W-2, somebody has to do it. Whether it's you or you pay someone to do it, there's payroll fees involved. Okay, that means whoever's going to process their check. That's whether you do it, that's technically you're paying yourself, is just with time, or you pay somebody else to do it. Okay, there's a payroll fee involved. Payroll taxes. If you have a company driver, you're paying W-2, you're gonna have payroll taxes. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just want you to know that, and I'll discuss that in a little bit. There's nothing wrong with having a company driver or a leased-on driver, but I want to show you guys the difference. That way you can plan better, plan your growth better. Workers' compensation. So depending what state you're in, worker compensation is required. Okay, that's another cost. You got to provide the equipment, truck, trailer. That's your job. It's a company driver. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, equipment insurance payments. So you also have to provide the insurance as well for the equipment. Equipment maintenance. If there's any maintenance that needs to be done, that also comes out of your pocket. That's quite normal. And a little bit extra just added on there. Normally requires an advance during downtimes to keep them on. So we have a company driver. Sometimes during bad times, you normally have to give them a little bit. You got to give them a check either way just to keep them on, and that's very much normal when it comes to a company driver. And this can be the same for a leased-on driver, but company drivers, leased-on drivers don't expect it as much. They're going to take that risk with you. And I'll go over that right now. And so you have 100% of the financial responsibility with the employee driver. Okay. So with the company driver, and I should say company, with the company driver, you have the 100% financial responsibility. Now let me show you the leased-on driver. So with the leased-on driver, you still have payroll fees. Somebody has to pay them. Somebody has to take their time to pay them, or whether you hire somebody, you're outsourcing it, somebody's paying them. So you will always have payroll fees if you have staff. Now we're moving on. Now you'll see that I'm not going into payroll taxes because if you have a leased-on driver, now the purpose for a leased-on driver is so that you can split the risk together. If you're going to be paying in workers' compensation, payroll taxes, then they might as well be a company driver. Now, you could negotiate halfway through and make them a hybrid. However, the purpose for a leased-on driver is to bring someone on with their own equipment so you don't have to have the full risk. So the second one going on here, so you don't have to take the risk on fully on your own. And that's such a great thing when you're starting out in business. And I'll explain that in a little bit. So leased-on drivers, you do have to pay the payroll fees. They have their own power unit, so you don't have to pay anything there. They participate or pay their part of the insurance. So when you bring on a leased driver, you get to make the negotiations and the contracts on how you want to do it. Like you can say, hey, look, you're going to pay for your truck, your insurance, the down payment for it, but you're going to receive this X amount of commission. You can absolutely do that. No problem at all. You just got to find the middle where it's going to benefit the leased-on driver to bring himself and his equipment, and it's going to benefit you. Okay, so what's great about leased-on driver is that they participate or pay their part of their insurance. They understand downtime periods more and normally don't require an advance to keep them on. They take on the financial risk with you. One thing that I didn't put on here is by them having their own power unit, they're also taking care of their own payment. Now, can you also provide assistance for the insurance, assistance for the maintenance? Absolutely, you can. But the thing that I'm trying to point out here is, you see all the reds here? Whoops, I went too far back. You see all the red here? This is just showing you that you're responsible for all this. You're going to get a bigger cut for sure because it's a company driver. They're not going to be paid as much as a leased driver who's taking care of their own power unit, that have their own power unit payment, right? Now most times they won't have a trailer, so you still have to provide that, but that's no big deal. And sometimes they do. So you have they have their own power unit. They're paying for their own part of the insurance, and they're taking care of their maintenance. Again, that doesn't mean you don't have to participate in any of it. You have a lot more, but you have a lot more flexibility.